Namah Shivaya. Second satsanga about spirituality, volume 1. This book I wrote 2 years ago, or something, yes, 2 years ago. At the end of 2020, I wrote this book. I was speaking about spiritual ignorance. We started to speak, and that is useless. To have more money, more praises from people, more health is useless. You're going to be happy. No. Because there is all the time inside a feeling of unsatisfaction, constantly. And no way to be happy with external things. One of the law of ignorance in this planet is that nobody's happy. Remember this, nobody's happy. When you are unhappy and you think, oh, maybe someone else is happier than me, no, nobody's happy. Like a rule, yes. Well, obviously, some liberated people are happier, obviously, but like a rule, nobody's happy. It doesn't matter what they do, it's all the time because they're in ignorance. If you are in ignorance, you cannot be happy because you are ignorant. It's like an animal. The animal cannot be happy. They are all the time suffering. You know this, yes? That the animals are all the time suffering. In fact, you can take the body of an animal only to suffer. Okay. Because they are ignorant. For example, like my cats, yes, so they are ignorant about everything. So they don't understand what's happening. For example, I put the music on the TV, or I put something, some noise that they dislike, and they don't know from where is coming the noise. They think that there are birds in the room, or there are mice. No, it's the TV. But they cannot understand what the TV is. They're ignorant. That's why they're all the time in danger. When you are ignorant, you are all the time defenseless. When you have knowledge, you have more defense. You can defend yourself. That's why to be ignorant is not a good thing. Despite in this world, people praise, yes. The more ignorant you are, the more they praise you. But no, it's not a good thing. It's bad. So this teaching about spiritual ignorance, that you cannot be happy with external things, with praises, with glory, with the health, with that, you're gonna be happy, completely happy. No, this teaching was given over the millennia, but people cannot understand. It's all the time. Vast majority of people cannot understand. And what's the proof that they don't understand? Because they continue to try to be happy with external things. You know, if I have money, I will be happy. Yes, if I win the lottery, I will be happy. If I have a beautiful woman, I will be happy. If I have this object, I will be happy. No. You will be temporarily happy, but unsatisfaction will gain again territory in you. Because it's internal and it's higher than the level of common mind. That's why you cannot understand what's happening, but there is something there. Well, I will continue to read and to explain. That simple teaching is the first thing you must understand if you want to attain a state free from spiritual ignorance. This blessed state is called in many ways across the tradition: enlightenment, liberation, the attainment of supreme happiness. I can add the attainment of the real I, etc. All in all, it has to do with the achievement of absolute freedom, with the complete identification with the universal spirit. I will call this universal spirit Bhairava now. That is the supreme Bhairava. Why Bhairava? Bhairava, when you go to dictionaries, you see share screen. When you go to a dictionary, Bhairava means terrible, frightful, horrible, formidable. Not very nice for God, yes, but well, it's like this. Why it's like this, Bhairava? Because it's terrible for you when he comes. Destroy all your ignorance. destroy all your limitations. And this is terrible. If he does it fast, you collapse. Imagine you are living a dualistic life and all of a sudden you realize the unity of all. Para Bhairava, you collapse. Cannot resist. To be in every atom, in every place, to feel everything at the same time, you collapse. It's impossible to resist the experience. The experience is liberation. Liberation, the experience of liberation happens for a few seconds, no more, or the body will die. Yes, it continues, the body dies. But these seconds or fraction of a second, nobody knows, it's enough for you to be completely changed. It's divine. Bhairava means like this, but Bhairava comes from Bhiru. You know what is a Bhiru? When you add Tadita affixes to Bhiru, you have this Bhairava. Bhiru is timid, cowardly, fearful. It's a Bhiru. It's a person all the time with fear. So somehow, by the means of a Tadita affixes added to Bhairava, you move from Bhiru, someone all the time with fear, to Bhairava, the one creating fear. Yes, this is a mystery of this word, Bhairava. Another way to understand Bhairava, the name of God in our system, is acrostically. Bhairava means the one who carries, maintains this universe. Bhararna, carrying. Ra comes from Ravarna, the one who destroyed this universe. Ravarna. And Va comes from Vamana, the one who emits, projects this universe, who manifests this universe. This is Bhairava. Bhararna, Ravarna, Vamana. This is a play with acrostic. Yes, you know acrostic. With the first syllable, you choose a correspondence between the first syllable and some word. Yes, so Bhairava comes from Bhararna. Ra in Bhairava comes from Ravarna. Va in Bhairava comes from Vamana. This is acrostic. Okay. So I continue. Why Bhairava? Because this is one of the names given to him in my tradition. Therefore, as you do not know your true nature, you are always in trouble, whether you are or whether you be a beggar or a trillionaire. For example, this guy, Elon Musk, yes? Billionaire. But he's all the time in trouble. I'm completely sure. I don't know him, but I'm completely sure. He's all the time in trouble. One of the qualities of ignorant people, he's ignorant, obviously, is that they are all the time about to fall. It's one of the qualities. They are all the time about to fall. How is in Russian fall, Guruma, padast?
Падать.
Padats.
Падать.
Padats. All the time about to fall. See your life. You're all the time about to fall. Oh my God, what will happen to me if I lose my job? It's all the time about to fall. But not solid. Don't care. I'm happy beyond all the external circumstances. No, you're all the time about to fall. Some changes in the external circumstances and you fall. Oh my God, my tooth is broken. And you fall. You lose your bliss. To fall is to lose your bliss, your happiness. All the time. Oh, what will I do if I don't have this? What will I do? I don't have that. Oh, that person doesn't love me. What will I do? All the time about to fall. This is the state of an ignorant person. Don't be like this. Don't be like this. Escape from this state. This spiritual ignorance is very powerful indeed, but it's not in capital letter. It is not impossible to be removed. So you can remove. It's difficult. It's very powerful, but you can remove. It can be effectively removed, but for it to happen in you, you need first to study its nature. If you don't understand something, you cannot do anything. For example, imagine you understand nothing about electricity. You deal with electricity, it's dangerous, yes, because you understand nothing. So you go to some device with electricity and you start to say, what to do? I touch this, electrocution, you understand? But when you understand, you know where to touch, yes, and to do something, to move, yes, because you understand electricity, yes? You know. So when you know, you don't destroy yourself in the process. It's all about this. When you see Sanskrit, you see a mess of things, yes, but I understand Sanskrit, so I don't see a mess of things. I see words, I see sentences, so I can do something with it. So knowledge is primordial. It's extremely important. If you don't have knowledge, you cannot understand. If you cannot understand, you are all the time in bondage. So the first thing is to understand what is this, the nature of this ignorance. First aspect of this ignorance, Paurusha Jnana, literally ignorance about the self. Paurusha about Purusha, the self. Purusha is man, yes, Purusha, man, person, Purusha, person, the self. Ignorance about the self. Second aspect, Bauddha Jnana, Ajnana, ignorance about Buddhi, Bauddha, intellectual, Buddhi, intellect. Ignorance, intellectual ignorance. Intellectual ignorance, not about Buddhi, in Buddhi. One of the rules in compounds in Sanskrit grammar is that you can have the 8 cases in the compound. In this case, it's ignorance in the intellect. It's locative case, prisloshni padesh, not about the intellect. In the intellect, Bauddha Jnana. Ignorance about the self means that you consider the self to be the not self. What is this? What does it mean? That you consider that the self, you, in the highest sense, has become many. So you think that the one became many. Yeah, you see people around, objects around, many. And you think that the absolute became many. And you cannot escape from this ignorance with effort. No, it's only by his divine grace that he can show you that there is no many, it's only one. The unity in all the things. Look at the baby, so beautiful. Look at the baby. She knows that she's a baby. And think about you, Lena. What? The other baby is in audio only, it's without camera. And she's so beautiful. So, when the one, the self, becomes many, the not self, why the not self is many? Because this doesn't exist really. It's only one. This appearance of many is not self. It's not the nature of the self. It's an appearance you are watching around. It's real because it exists, but it's not the highest reality. This is not Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta said that no, it doesn't exist. No. It's not, it's real, exists, but at the same time, it's not the self, one. It's many. In other words, the self has apparently abandoned his eternal solitude. You know what is solitude? Soledad. He abandoned his soledad in Spanish, his solitude, his maganio shack. in Hungarian and in Russian, Adinochesva. He abandoned his Adinochesva, apparently, and became many. No, he never did it. You can tell me, it's impossible. I see many people around. No, you are not seeing reality. This is not the highest reality. Highest reality is one. When I see in the eyes of my pet, I see God there. No, this is not the highest reality. Because in the highest reality, there is no pet. God is inside my pet. I see him there watching me from his eyes. No, this is not the highest reality. This is a level of consciousness, but it's not the highest level. In the highest level, it's only you watching. There is only one. Difficult to understand because we live all the time in this egg of Maya. Yes, we live in this. This is the egg of Maya. This has the form of an egg. We live here, completely contracted and limited. That's why we cannot understand what it is saying. That all is one. He apparently abandoned his eternal solitude and became many things. That is, there is a spreading out of multiplicity. Who created this state? He created it by his will. How? He contracted his will, spiritual ignorance, Arnavamaya. And after this, created multiplicity. The power is tremendous. In order to remove this aspect of the spiritual ignorance, you need the grace of the self, because he contracted, he will expand. You cannot expand. It's beyond your ego. Arnavamala is between tattvas 5 and 6. Your ego is in tattva 5. You cannot do it. You cannot do anything. Intellect is tattva 14. You cannot go to tattva 5 and remove Arnavamala. It's impossible. You need a higher power to do it for you. Can be your guru, can be a deity like Agoresha, can be a dead guru, your living guru, I mean by guru. You can be a dead guru. Someone has to do it for you, someone divine, or directly God himself, divine. You need the grace of the self, para Bhairava. That is you in the highest sense. It's you who give yourself your own grace, but not the you are used to. This ego in you. No, the real you, the master. Without his grace, there is no way to cross over this obstacle. No way. Here, all of your efforts are rendered completely useless. So it's about waiting. The removal of this aspect has to do directly with realizing that the self is always one and never became many at all. Multiplicity of selves is false, as the self constantly shines in full unity, constantly. This is the experience. Anyway, I repeat, the removal of this aspect of the spiritual ignorance depends entirely on the grace of this self and is never the outcome. The outcome, you know what is the outcome? The resultado, outcome. It's never the outcome, el resultado in Spanish. It's never the outcome, the is hot. It's never in Russian, it's never the
Результат.
Added
Результат.
me. Yes, added me. It's never the result, the outcome, el resultado. It's never the outcome of human efforts. No. They cannot reach this level between tattva 5 and 6. How to do it? Deep sleep stop in Maya. That was 6. You have to go beyond deep sleep to start to do something with Anavamala. How to do you go beyond deep sleep? It's impossible. You every day return to wakefulness again. Wakefulness, dreaming, deep sleep, wakefulness again. You cannot touch. However hard they may be, however hard your efforts, it's useless. Intellectual ignorance means that you consider the not self to be the self. It's the opposite. Paurusha Jnana, ignorance about the self, is to consider the self to be the not self. In this case, it's the opposite, intellectual ignorance. It's to consider the not self to be the self. What does it mean? That you consider that the not self, for example, body, vital energy flowing through your breath, etc., is the self. You consider that the not self is the self. You in the highest sense. You think that you are your body, that you are your breathing. That's why you stop breathing, you die. All in all, you are identified with your body, breath, etc., to the extent that you are sure that if the body dies, you die with it. That if your breath stops, you cease to exist, and so on. This Vaudhagyana can be removed by efforts. What efforts? To study Shiva scripture, Bhairava scriptures. This happens because you don't know about the scriptures composed by Venerable Parabhairava. For example, Malini Vijayotara Tantra, Swachanda Tantra, etc. And the subsequent literature, for example, Shiva Sutras, Spandakarikas, etc. Consequently, to study that kind of scriptures is absolutely fundamental. By their deep study, you come to realize that effectively the body, the breath, and such are not you at all. By when you study scripture, you realize one day that you are not the body, you are not the breath. What's the philosophy following that the breath is God? It's very popular. You know them. Vedas. They say that prana is God. Prana, yes, the vital energy in breath is God. You lose prana, you die. God is gone. No, we don't say that prana is God. God is even subtler than prana. Subtler. God is infinitesimal. It's a particle, infinitesimal. You cannot see. Minimum you see is a bindu, it's a dot of light, bindu, minimum. Beyond that, you cannot see. It's impossible to even to delineate God in your mind. So subtle. So it's not prana. So if you stop breathing, you don't die. Nobody dies. And beyond prana, there is pranana, life. Pranana is life, it's the source of prana. And this life doesn't breathe, exists without breathing. It's pure life without breathing. That's why how to die when you return to pranana. When you leave the body, you return to pranana, to life. And you don't breathe anymore because to exist, you don't need to breathe. Difficult to understand, yes, because to exist, I need to breathe. No, for the body to exist, you need to breathe, not for you to exist. When you are in pranana after death, how is it possible that people say that you are dead when you are in life? Well, difficult to understand. Therefore, the removal of this aspect, Bauda Jnana, of spiritual ignorance can be accomplished by means of efforts unlike the first aspect, whose only factor for this removal was his grace. In this case, you can do some efforts, can make some effort. Many people on this planet believe that there is only one life, a next heaven, hell, and so on. According to the teachings I am explaining, that belief is wrong. As a matter of fact, one lifetime is not effective to explain all that happens to a person. It really is a succession of lifetimes in different bodies. So one leaves a body and almost always gets immediately a new one. I said almost always. How is in Russian? Почти всегда. Almost always. Casi siempre in Spanish. Why? Because sometimes, rarely really, one manages to ascend to heaven or to descend to hell. You have to be very good or very bad. Yes. Most people are not very good or very bad. They are average. So they immediately return to this planet with another body. But heaven or hell are temporary phases and not places wherein one you will be eternally, as the usual belief states. So hell and heaven in our system, in our tradition, is not, they are not permanent, like in, for example, religions. Yes, no. Therefore, this moving from one body to the next one is a kind of transmigration. Hence, it is called in Sanskrit samsara, transmigration, samsara, literally transmigration. Anyway, the meaning of this term is more extensive as it involves not only the moving from one body to another body after death, but also every movement during one lifetime. For example, from a young body, like my body, for example, to an old one. Yes, in the future when I'm old. Now I'm young. From one thought to another thought, etc. As a result, the scope of samsara is much more comprehensive. You know, with comprehensive is more expansive, comprehensive, abarcante. How to say in Spanish? Something like this. I invent some word. It's much more comprehensive than the mere process of leaving a body at the time of dying in order to take a new one. So samsara is all the time. If it's mutating, if it's changing, rotating, it's samsara. For example, the state of consciousness of samsara. Wakefulness, dreaming, deep sleep, wakefulness, dreaming, deep sleep, wakefulness, transmigration. Samsara, samsara. All egos in you, yes, all the time mutating, rotating in you. Every day you do the same, like a machine, because they are rotating in you. You realize that every day you do the same, but you are not exceptional. For example, doing different things every day. All the time you do the same. You go to the job. Yes, every day the same, like an ant. Every day the same. That you have the same opinions. All the time the same. You agree? No, I don't agree. I dislike this, blah, 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 blah. This is a rotation of egos. All the time the same egos. Samsara. All that is changing outside in the world. What was important news in the past now is not important. Yes, at the time of World War II, all people hypnotized by World War II, all people interested in World War II, all people listening to radios because of World War II. Now nobody cares about World War II. You realize this? This samsara. What was important in the past is completely unimportant now. People say World War II, when? They don't even know the years, a lot of people. And imagine first World War I, yes. Nobody realized what was that, but at that time it was so important. Every day, World War One, World War One, World War One. Well, this is samsara. Every day something is very important. Next, nobody cares. You know, this is all the news you see today on the no newspapers. How is on the media? Newspapers very old. On the media, all tomorrow people will forget. Some new hardware arrived. Yes, oh, look at me. I have this hardware. I bought this hardware. It's so important. In a few years, it's all nobody cares about this hardware. Who cares about this hardware? This is samsara. All the time changing, change. So samsara is more comprehensive. It's not only to die to get another body. It's all lies, samsara. There are little cogs. You know what is a cog? Es una pieza de engranaje. Cog. Everything in life is a little cog. In Hungarian, patkúszeg. In Russian, vintik. It's a little cog, yes, rotating in a big machine. And your rotation of egos is joining the rotation of something else outside, yes, and rotation. So all this is a big machinery, all this planet. Everything is rotating. The stars of the past, now they are nothing. You know, the superstars, for example, oh, so important singer in the 20s. Nobody cares now. Who cares about 100 years ago singers? Nobody cares. Yes, but at that time, so important superstar. The same with actresses, actors. They reach a peak and then they decay. They fall into decay. And nobody cares later. All this is absurd. You have to escape from this rotation. You have to arrive at unity, at him. He doesn't rotate. He's a constant nowhere of all. It's you, please. The witness in you. Please, behind your eyes. This is him. This is the cube. How is this? The axis of this rotation, this rotating wheel, just like a mill, just rotating mill with two stones breaking everything. So you are at the center. The term liberation, no, but what is the root of this samsara? It's sarnavamala. If you remove sarnavamala, there is no more samsara for you. Spiritual ignorance, sarnavamala. Consequently, the removal of Varnavamala in its two aspects of Paurusha Jnana, ignorance about the self, and Bauddha Jnana, intellectual ignorance, leads to the cessation of samsara or transmigration. This is called liberation. Moksha or mukti, two ways to designate this. Mukti or moksha. The term liberation is then liberation from samsara or transmigration. It's not so simple, this, yes? For now, you will understand liberation like this. But it's not so simple. There are many philosophical debates about it. Is liberation from samsara or transmigration? The presence of Varnavamala, especially the Paurusha Jnana aspect in a person, forces to transmigrate from one body to another. Because you have this contraction in you, this contraction of will. So before you felt, I am full. After this contraction, Varnavamala, you feel now, I'm not full. I need something. I'm not full. What do I need? I need a husband. I need a wife. I need an object. I need a lover. What do you need? You need something of it. Yes, I need. I have needs. This is because of Varnavamala. When Varnavamala is destroyed, you don't have any more needs. This means that you don't go to the bathroom anymore. No, you go to the bathroom, but you don't have needs to be happy. You go to the bathroom because the body continues. You need to eat too because the body continues, but you don't have needs in the sense of something to be happy, for example. No, because happiness comes from you, from the self. When both aspects of Varnavamala are removed, one gets liberation, right here and right now. This is called Jivan Mukti. Jivan comes from Jivat, living, Jivat. By the addition of the affix Krit, or primary affix, to the affix is at, to Jiv, to live, Jivat. So Jivan Mukta comes from Jivat, living. And Mukti, Jivan Mukti, and Mukti, liberation, liberation while living. But if only the Paurusha Jnana aspect is removed, there is anyway liberation, but the person will have to wait for death in order to enjoy it. In a nutshell, if only Paurusha Jnana is removed, there is liberation, but not right here and right now, like in Jivan Mukti, but after dying, after leaving the present body. So you want liberation here and now, and to enjoy this state of bliss here and now while living, you need to remove both aspects, Paurusha Jnana and Bauddha Jnana, not only Paurusha Jnana. Some person who remove Paurusha Jnana only by the grace of God, but didn't remove Bauddha Jnana, studying scriptures, that person will enjoy liberation after death, not while living. On the contrary, if only Bauddha Jnana is removed by studying scriptures, then you become a scholar, someone who is an expert in the scriptures, Bhairava scriptures in this case, but you are not liberated from samsara. No. Because to get liberation, you need to remove Paurusha Jnana. This is the most important aspect. But anyway, you have your path 50% done because you destroy Bauddha Jnana. So you will return to another body. You reincarnate in samsara, but you will advance faster in spirituality. All in all, you will have to take another body after leaving the present one at the time of death, but you will advance faster in spirituality. That's why a scholar who dies a scholar in this lifetime will be reincarnated in another body, but he will advance or she will advance faster in spirituality. Because half of the spiritual path is done already. He removed Paurusha Jnana. The ideal situation is then to dissolve both aspects of the spiritual ignorance in order to attain final beatitude. Beatitude. Yeah, one is beatitude. How to pronounce this? Beatitude. No, no beatitude. Beatitude. Oh my God, look at this. Beatitude. What is in Russian? Beatitude is krasota. More or less. This is beauty, krasota. Beatitude. I will check in Russian in my phone as a detection. In Spanish, beatitud. In religion, they speak a lot about beatitude. In Russian, shasti, blaženstvo, spokojствие, безмятежность, or something like this. Vuestra beatitud, vaše sviatejstvo. Oh my God, what is sviatejstvo? Oh. Okay, something like blaženstvo, or something like this. Beatitud. In Hungarian, szépség. Szépség. So, in order to attain final beatitude, 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 you have to remove both aspects. Anyway, as I said before, liberation has mainly to do with the removal of Paurusha Jnana, ignorance about the self, while the removal of Bauddha Jnana has mainly to do with providing stability to your state of liberation so you can enjoy your liberated state right here and right now during your current lifetime without having to wait for death. I will explain this now even again. When Bauddha Jnana is removed, liberation while living is still not with you. No. And if only Paurusha Jnana is removed, then you have to wait for death of the body to enjoy liberation. Therefore, the cause of liberation, whether while living or after dying, is always the removal of Paurusha Jnana or ignorance about the self, namely to think that the self has become many. In the next table, you can see all the possibilities with respect to liberation. For example, if Paurusha Jnana is not removed, there is no liberation, even if you succeeded in removing Bauddha Jnana by a serious study of the Bhairava scriptures. Or else, if you remove Paurusha Jnana but not Bauddha Jnana, you are liberated but have to wait for death to arrive in order to enjoy your liberation. There is another category of liberated ones, the ones who get liberation and immediately die. That is, due to the intensity of their state of liberation, they are forced to abandon the body. Very well, the table now. I will show the table. No, here. You have Paurusha Jnana and Bauddha Jnana, possible combinations. Arnavamala, Paurusha Jnana and Bauddha Jnana. Both are not removed. So he's not liberated and he's not a scholar. What is he? He's a piece of crap. He's an ordinary person. Piece of crap. Despite his possible knowledge, he's still like a common person. Now, Paurusha Jnana not removed. He's not liberated. But Bauddha Jnana removed. He's a scholar. So what happened here? As he has enough knowledge about the Bhairava's scriptures, he's not a common person. Anyway, he's not liberated. That is, he will be reborn after leaving the present body if he does not manage to remove his Paurusha Jnana with the help of Guru or Parabhairava in trance. Another possibility, Paurusha Jnana removed. He's liberated. But Bauddha Jnana not removed. He's not a scholar. I knew people like this. He's not a scholar. So he's liberated, but he cannot enjoy his liberation in the present lifetime. He's unstable, come and go bliss. He cannot enjoy his liberation in the present lifetime till Bauddha Jnana is totally removed. If he cannot manage to remove Bauddha Jnana by studying Parabhairava scriptures, he will only enjoy his liberation after the body falls. He will not have any future birth unless he decided so. He can return to this world at will. Another option, the best option. Paurusha Jnana removed, Bauddha Jnana removed. So he's liberated and he's a scholar. He's liberated and he can enjoy his liberation in the present lifetime because the two types of ignorance were removed. He's called Jivan Mukta or liberated while living because he retained his physical body after getting liberation. After living for some time in his gross body, he leaves it and enjoys even fuller liberation due to the absence of the physical body. He will not have any future life unless he decided so. He can return to this world at will. And there is a special category of liberated beings, the Videha Muktas. they immediately leave the body on receiving his intense grace. They are called videha muktas because they leave the deha or body at the moment of their attaining liberation. Implies separation. Separation from the deha, from the body, videha. So at the moment of attaining liberation, they leave the body. To sum it up, the two types of ignorance are the two aspects of Dharnavamala, spiritual ignorance. Paurusha ignorance about the self, and Bauddha intellectual ignorance. To generate a full state of liberation, right here and right now, both aspects must be removed. The first aspect is always taken away by the grace of Parabhairava, with the help of Guru during the process of Shaktipata, the sense of power. While the second aspect is removed by a serious, deep study of the Parabhairava scriptures. When Arnavamala is completely removed, there is no more samsara or transmigration, as its root cause has been extirpated. All in all, one does not take any new body by force, as before, but only at will. Now, we move to Patanjali now. I will explain something from Patanjali. According to sage Patanjali, the famous author of Yoga Sutras or the aphorisms of yoga, knowledge can be acquired in three ways. First way, direct experience, pratyaksha. Second way, inference or inference. How to pronounce this? Or inference. 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 Anumana. Anumana in Sanskrit means inference. Oh, I'm cheating you. Oh, my memory is bad. Anumana. Inference. Yes, my memory is good. The act of inferring or drawing a conclusion from given premises. Deduction, inference, anumana. No, my memory is good. All the secret for my performance in spirituality is my memory. That's why you are here with me, because of my memory. How is in Russian memory?
Память.
Pamets. Well, because of my pamets, you are with me all the time. The memory. That's why the importance of the memory. If I get Alzheimer's someday, good luck. Good luck. No more Guruji. So Guruji exists because of the memory. Inference, anumana. And finally, agama, testimony. Or testimony or something, or testimony. This problem with the spelling in English is so complicated. Testimony. Testimony, like this. Testimony is agama. So what is pratyaksha, direct experience? It's when you know something because you know that directly. Yes? You know flowers? Yes, because you saw them. Direct experience. Anumana, deduction. For example, you say, well, I cannot see all the stars in the sky. Many stars are hidden. I inferencing. Yes. I infer. I infer. I deduct. There are more stars hidden that I cannot see because I don't have a telescope. This is inference. Agama. I read books about astronomy. In this book, they say that there are more stars hidden there in this book. This is Agama, testimony. In the case of spirituality, you have direct experience. Someone got liberation, and he saw the state. He perceived the state by himself. Pratyaksha. Anumana, deduction. You don't know the state by yourself, but you deduct. Oh, it's a state full of bliss, full of freedom, blah, blah, blah. Or agama. You read the scripture speaking about liberation, and you say, well, this is liberation. So knowledge can be can be gotten by three means. Pratyaksha, direct experience, anumana, inference, or testimony, agama. If one manages to remove Paurusha Jnana by his grace, one will have the direct experience that effectively the self exists and is only one. Yes? This is when Paurusha Jnana is removed. You realize that the self is one. There are no many. It's an illusion. It's only one. But if one did not remove Bauddha Jnana or intellectual ignorance, he will have to wait for Mother Death to arrive in order to enjoy his state of liberation. But a person like this knows the truth. He saw the truth, one time at least. And he has glimpses of this state during his life. Unstable. He cannot enjoy his liberation constantly. Why? Because he retained Bauddha Jnana. But he knew by himself, direct, pratyaksha. I knew people like this, but they were not scholars. That's why they couldn't explain their states. They saw, but they couldn't explain their state because they were not scholars. They didn't know about scriptures. Accordingly, since one did not remove the intellectual ignorance, his knowledge about the Bhairava scriptures is imperfect. Therefore, he cannot appropriately use testimony to describe and demonstrate his state of liberation. He has problem with this. How to teach to people, how to teach people about his state of liberation if he cannot demonstrate by knowledge of a scripture this state. Another case, if one manages to remove Bauddha Jnana by an arduous study of the Bhairava scripture, not reading 15 minutes every day, no, arduous. How to pronounce arduous? Arduous, arduous. By an arduous, by in Hungarian, Faratagos. How should it is? Faratagos. Oh, it's so difficult. Trudny.
Напряженно, напряженно.
Напряженно. By its arduous study, strong study of Bhairava scriptures. That person remove Bauddha Jnana. Then one becomes a scholar and can easily get knowledge by testimony, by scriptures. In other words, he can refute arguments by the force of his knowledge about the scriptures. So if someone comes to him to tell him, hey, there is no God, guy, no. So he refutes. And he can prove that God exists by his knowledge about scriptures. You know this guy saying that God doesn't exist, yeah? These idiots. And they exist. So how is it possible that they exist but God doesn't exist? It's impossible. If you exist, God exists. They cannot understand this simple thing. Why? Because their intellect is wrong. Only in this stupid world does atheists can exist. If one manages to remove both ignorance about the self and intellectual ignorance, then one is a great master, proficient in acquiring knowledge about the self by means of direct experience, inference, and testimony. According to the great sage Abhinavagupta, there are three categories of gurus. Great master, fully liberated from Arnavamala right here and right now, from both aspects. A scholar, liberated from Bauddha Jnana only. Liberated, third category. who must wait for death to enjoy his liberation. He is liberated from Paurushagyana. A spiritual aspirant then should always look for the first kind of master, great master. And if this is impossible, then he should find a scholar. The third category of guru, only liberated, but he is not a scholar, is not advised at all due to his lack of knowledge about the scriptures of Holy Parabhairava. So to have knowledge about the scriptures of Parabhairava is so important in order to explain the state to disciples. That's why you go to a guru who is only liberated from Paurushagyana. He cannot explain his state. It's complicated to learn from him. Complicated. But how is this spiritual ignorance working in real life? It's a sense of imperfection, of not being full. It is constant unsatisfaction, accompanying every person on this planet. If someone cannot perceive it, he's either a liberated person or a fully ignorant one. These teachings are meant for people who perceive this constant unsatisfaction or lack of fullness, and who accordingly want to remove it once and for all. This kind of people is called spiritual aspirants, sadhakas. Okay, for today is enough. Next asanga will continue from page 11 from this spiritual aspirant. I'll start to continue with the reading of this scripture and the explanation of this, not scripture, this book, Spirituality, Volume 1. Okay, for today is enough. Om Namah Shivaya.